In 2024, I was invited to briefly speak to the Police and Crime Commissioner, Mayor Andy Burnham, regarding the many concerns that I had involving Greater Manchester Police. This was delayed several times by the Mayor, and during which many of the concerns and evidence I presented were not substantively addressed. This video relates to one such incident. Okay, I'll try and get into the last bit very quickly because I know we're running on seconds now, but there was a last clip. I don't really need you to say anything, Andy, but I just felt it was necessary to show you this because it kind of summarises my relationship with GMP within a few seconds.
Those security guards just assaulted me.
Guys, just walk on, just right now, please. We're a bit busy, okay? If you want to make a complaint, call the police, okay?
You're busy. The police.
Yeah,
we're busy. The police
we're busy
there.
right now.
Busy, mate.
Move on, please.
You're busy with what?
The fact that we've arrested someone with a fucking 10-inch machete, mate. Is that good enough for you? Or do you want to piss off down the street and let us do a fucking job?
Excuse
me? If you want to report it, dial 101.
My caller number. Okay? Right, report me, pal.
What's your caller number?
9108, mate.
9108?
That's it.
What's your name?
I'm not telling you my fucking name. Piss off or I'll arrest you, mate.
So a little quick background about that. That occurred in January, and I believe that I saw a child being groped by a security guard in Arndale. I intervened and then got assaulted by this Arndale security guard. I was thrown out of Arndale even though I was on my way out anyway. But that interaction with the police, I went to report them, and immediately I was interacted like that by PC Boyle was his name. I've never spoken or met PC Boyle before, but he decided to tell me to piss off down the road. I wanted to jump onto the last point that I had, but do you have any immediate reaction to how he just behaved then?
I mean, it's hard, I've only got a sort of partial view of it. I mean, it didn't strike me as what you would want to see, but I haven't, I've only just had a first look at it, and it wasn't, as clear as I'd probably asked Dave to sort of, if he could send us sort of fuller footage. Have you ever made a complaint about that?
I did make a complaint. GMP turned around. And the inspector said something along the lines of he wasn't happy about how the officer interacted, but he believed that I goaded him. I don't know how he got that from me asking for help, but he believed that I goaded him. So the complaint has been closed from that. I believe that was Inspector Philip Marsh of the City Centre Division who decided that I goaded him, and therefore it was fine for me to be verbally abused. After this initial meeting with the Mayor, Andy Burnham, I reflected on what Mr. Burnham said regarding PC Boyle 09108's behaviour. He said that,
I've only got a sort of partial view of it. I mean, it didn't strike me as what you would want to see, but I haven't, I've only just had a first look at it.
Before our follow-up meeting 2 months later, I wanted to know what the Mayor meant by this. Do you remember the footage that I showed you of last time where that officer, PC Boyle, was shouting at myself? It's playing now. Yeah, so I don't need to play it again. You remember clearly what occurred.
Yeah.
There was something interesting that you said last time, and I wanted to bring up a point and quiz you about it. You said that you didn't know what the context was for PC Boyle to react like that. And I wanted to ask you, and wanted to bring another point up, which is quite important. What context would be appropriate for PC Boyle to not just speak like that to anyone, but to a member of the public who's trying to get their help? I would like to ask you at home to pause this video for a few seconds and consider what your answer would be to that question, and what possible reason would a police officer, a public servant, have to speak to a member of the public who is asking for their help, seemingly in a moment of crisis, who they've never met before, and keep your answer in mind whilst you listen to what Mr. Burnham is about to say.
I guess if you were to answer very direct answers to that question, you would need to show me the footage again. I have a memory of viewing it, but not the specific nature of it.
Okay, I'll try and play it, and hopefully my laptop allows me to. If you just give me. Can you hear it?
If you want to make a complaint, call the
Can
police.
you
Okay?
hear yourself?
Okay,
no, I can see it now. Yeah.
You're busy with what?
The fact that we've arrested someone with a fucking 10-inch machete, mate, is that good enough for you? Or do you want to piss off down the street and let us do a fucking job?
Excuse
If you
me?
want to report it, dial
9108 is my
101.
caller number,
Okay?
right? Report me, pal.
What's your collar number?
9108, mate.
9108.
That's it.
What's your name?
I'm not telling you my fucking name. Piss off or I'll arrest you, mate.
The reason why I showed you that again is because I've been thinking about it, and that to me is the most transparent I've ever seen GMP be with myself. They've always had a quiet disdain for myself, but that was the first time they fully expressed it. And that chap didn't know me, and that's how he responded whilst I had my phone pointed at him. In full view of the public, in front of his fellow officers, that's how he decided to speak to me. So the point that I wanted to make was, that's how he decided to speak to me in public. What is he talking? How are him and his colleagues speaking about members of the public behind closed doors in police stations where they're not being monitored? Because that, to me, is probably the tip of the iceberg, I feel.
Well, to answer your question, I mean, obviously it's not appropriate language, but I come back to what I said at the last meeting. I've not seen the events that were preceding that interchange, so I don't know what had led him to react in that way. So
What would have
as I
had
say,
to have
on the-
happened, though?
on the face of it, it's not the kind of response that you would want ever to see from an officer. But I don't know, what had prompted that reaction from him, and I don't know whether that would offer some mitigation for what was said and the manner in which it was said. I think it's not my job to make excuses for them, and I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I have to be cognizant of the fact that policing, particularly the city centre these days, is hard when people are pointing cameras at people all of the time and, saying things, sometimes provoking police officers. I'm not saying that's what you did, but all I have to be honest and say is I have to look at the whole picture, not just a snippet of a picture. And I don't know if you can enlighten me as to what had led him to react in that way. But it's clearly was something that had happened before the video.
There was a security guard within Arndale that I believe groped a child. I intervened. I got assaulted by these security guards. I was thrown out very physically by these Arndale security guards. I was left with a very big bruise. I came out immediately. I saw police officers. I said, those security guards just assaulted me. Never met either of them before, and immediately that was the reaction that I got was, piss off down the road, we're not going to help you, and I'm not telling you my fucking name. Even if somebody, God forbid, threatened my mother's life, who I love very dearly, I would not respond like that. Even if the entire world was pointing camera phones at me in the middle of a very difficult job, I would not react like that. Especially if I was a public servant whose calling it was to help and protect the public. I definitely wouldn't react like that. And I certainly would not do it to somebody who I'd never spoken to, I had no reason to speak to like that. Nobody should behave like that. Doesn't matter. There is no context for that, Andy. I shouldn't really have to tell you that. But I think it's best that we move on, because We only got a bit more time left, and I haven't really gotten into the email exchange. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Just to finish off on that, though, I mean, I did say that on the face of it, it doesn't look appropriate, so I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily, but I always have to be careful to remember that there's always a wider context, and when I haven't seen what led up to it, it is difficult to give a definitive view based on a fragment. I had that issue with other incidents recently where videos get shared on social media and everyone clamours and asks you for an opinion, and when you see the wider footage you realise there's a wider context to it. So I'm just telling you that I have to be careful before I leap to a conclusion. I don't think people would want me in my position to leap to conclusions, but I'm always prepared to hold GMP to account, and if you were to again complain about that would be subject to a formal process.
Are you talking about the airport incident with the kicking?
I was just making a generic point there about fragments of video in many incidents get shared, and often I'm asked to make a definitive view, and I do have to be careful about that.
That's fair enough. I have my own feelings towards the airport incident. The following footage I haven't shared with anyone before, but I find it relevant to the Manchester airport incident where police attempted to detain and arrest a young man and was seemingly proceeded to be assaulted by them.
This is what you're showing everybody what we do on a daily basis. So provide support and reassurance for members of the community who are using our network. We're also providing safeguarding and reassurance to the vulnerable and young users of our road safety network. But we're also showing to those who are intending committing crime, antisocial behaviour and harm on the transport network. It will not be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. So before I hand over to Adrian, I'd just like to thank you all for taking the time out to come here today. Thank you for listening. And remember, out there today, I want you to show the very best of Greater Manchester Police. I want you to provide that reassurance. And to those who are committing crime and causing issues, I want you to be firm, fair, and act without favour. Okay, folks, thank you very much.
Yeah, just to say, it looks fabulous to see you all here today, showing that GMP is out indoors here, but right across the city and all the transport network. And it's great to have our partners here today.
4 days before the Manchester airport incident, GMP publicly briefed officers to be firmer, fairer and out with that behaviour on public transport, alongside Andy Burnham's Deputy Mayor, Kate Green. I believe this briefing provides important context for what happened at Manchester Airport 4 days later, with the first few seconds of the surveillance footage at Manchester Airport on the 23rd of July 2024 showing PC Zachary Marsden approaching Mohammed Amars from behind without announcing himself, before grabbing him by the neck and forcibly pushing his head forward.
If you wanted to make a formal complaint against the officer that was swearing in the video, again, we're open to pursuing those matters, but it has to be on that basis, because obviously we can't just work off a one-sided account or a sort of a fragment of information as opposed to the full picture. I actually do, and I'm very conscious of my duty to hold GMP to account on behalf of the public, And if you want to send anything on the back of this call to Dave, I will look at it. But I can't just accept, a sweeping statement that they're all essentially criminal or overseeing criminal behaviour. They're not.
The most transparent response from any officer I've seen was PC Boyle telling me to piss off down the road, and you didn't bat an eyelid to that. So what?
No, I did. I did bat an eyelid. I said on the face of it, it doesn't appear to be appropriate. That's what I said.
If you
want to make a complaint about that,
yeah. I've looked through the police code of ethics, and PC Boyle broke sections, not a couple of conduct, policies. He broke at least 5 major keystones of policing: leadership, accountability, fairness. All of these things just out the window, just to tell me, a stranger, to piss off down the road. And there isn't a two-side to that story. And if you think there is, you're in the wrong job. But I'm sorry, I can't say it any better than that.
I think you just have to accept that a video has more to it than just there is a build-up to what you show, and I have to remember that. But I have said to you that certainly that does not on the face of it appear to be appropriate. So
I could send you all of that footage.
I can't say more than that. Just watching a video on a laptop via another laptop. I mean, it's hard for me to look at. I've not had the time to think about it or look at it carefully. But I will do if you want to make a complaint about it. Then I can't. What else can I say to you? If you there would appear to be grounds for a complaint there, so make one, and then we can look at it more thoroughly.
Well, I already have put a complaint in through GMP, but whether I do one via GMCA or whoever, I can't be putting myself through this anymore, Andy. It's physically and mentally drained me to the point of